Welcome to Conversations with K and J. We're your hosts, Kayla and Janae.
And here we talk about love, life,
and lessons learned. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Daily Doses of Conversations with Kayla
and Janae.
In today's energy, we are looking into breaking open to life. Life is not trying to break you down. It's trying to break you open. It's waking you up to the full texture of life. Many of us view breaking open as something bad, scary, or vulnerable. But breaking open is a sign of awakening. You are no longer walking blindly through life, but fully awake. Let life break you open, bleed out, and feel the tens of thousands of joys and tens of thousands of sorrows life has to offer. See the beauty in your vulnerability and see the wisdom in your breaking. You are getting closer to your truth. You are awake. What you think?
I think that is saying that you know who you want to be and you know who you don't. You know what is the truth and you know what is a lie. You know what is real and you know what is fake. Mm-hmm. So you have the wisdom to move through life knowing, like, you're awake. You're not asleep anymore. You know what to expect. You know when you see something that's what it is.
Right. So ultimately, this is putting you in between two worlds and you having to choose if you want to wake up still being conscious or try to walk through life blindly when you already know the truth of what it is.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people try to do that in some sense, like knowing better but not choosing better or doing better only makes your life more miserable. And I used this example one time on the channel in a collective reading where to everyone's situation and story will be different. But from what I've observed with people who stay with cheaters, mm-hmm. or they go back to somebody that they know did not value them and does not treat them how they know they deserve to be treated, you end up in a life where you know that there's better or that there's more or that you deserve more, but you consistently accept and settle for less. Like there's a misery within that. Like knowing when you were free and on your own that you were fulfilled and doing the things that you wanted to and that you felt like you were deserving of, and then just going back into a life and a reality that restricts you from that takes you away from pouring into yourself or having this confidence or this value to you. It's like moving past your past and not going back, moving away from your hometown and exploring the world and seeing how much more is out there, and then going back home and saying that you have to stay here, mm-hmm. knowing that there's so much more out there. Does that make sense?
Right. You already had your awakening. Like, you know what going back home is like, what it feels like, what's there. It's predictable. And when you know something like the back of your hand, it's like you know what to expect. But why go to what you expect and why not go to something that is new? A new experience. A new obstacle. Like, why keep going through the same obstacle that you already done got past? You already completed it.
So with this, we have the Three of Pentacles energy. And this is posing the question of what is stopping you from building and creating something new and more sustainable and firmly rooted within who you are now and who you want to be, versus letting go of, again, what you already know things to be that mm-hmm. just keep you stagnant and stuck. Because behind this Three of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Swords. So you staying connected to things, people, places, spaces, foundations that you have ultimately had to be the leader or the nurturer or the caretaker in serves what purpose when you could be doing that on a larger scale? You know, there's so much more to who you are and your purpose here in this reality. So I feel like this energy is coming up because it's still playing small in some aspect. It's still keeping yourself small, thinking that you have to tend to the little things that you've tended to, like, through and through. Again, right. Yeah, like, you know, the ins and outs of it, when there's a larger calling upon you in your life. And that's where we have to really sit down and start to get strategic within our planning, within our decision making, right? The Three of Pentacles in a business sense is like coming together, collaborating with people. This is contracts. And when you do any of that, partnering with people, you have to know the ins and outs of what you're getting yourself into, or you're going to end up taking on more than you should, or somebody's going to end up taking more from you than they should, right? So if we were to think about this in a general sense with that example, you know the ins and outs of what you have been tending to, choosing, helping, and contributing yourself to in one way or another. But have you taken the time to step back and see how that is helping, supporting, or feeding into you as well? Because I think it's easy to be there for people who seem helpless and hopeless, but after you giving and doing everything that you can and have, you have to sit back and wonder, like, are they even trying? Are they even putting in the energy and effort to want better, to want more? Because, again, at some point, you just end up maybe even being an enabler by just always aiding and tending to things and people that need to do it themselves. Right? So that could be family, that could be career, that could be anything within your day-to-day life. But it's something that is hindering you on a mental level and holding you back from releasing yourself from the past ways of seeing things, or your perspective. Well, no, I guess that's the same thing. I'm trying to say something else. A past way of, I don't know, connecting to yourself. It's not being able to see who you have evolved into because you still are feeling like you have to hold on to the responsibilities of who you used to be for other things and people that are not a part of your purpose anymore. Right.
I mean, it's silly, but it makes me think of like a box. It's like being put in a box, right? And then you becoming bigger than that box. And then you either get out of the box or you become the box. When you said like being an enabler, you become that box where you like storing everybody else that hasn't like outgrown it yet. Or do you just go get into a bigger box? Or you just stay out that box, like you become, you're not in a box at all. Like, that's the awakening part. Like, I'm not going to continue to put myself in boxes that keep me trapped.
Yeah. That makes me think of hermit crabs.
Yeah, a hermit crab.
Yeah.
Same concept. That shell just becomes too small. And you want to get into a bigger shell.
So with the Five of Cups energy connected to the Three of Wands, I think there is difficulty mentally with this energy because, again, the past is still present. And it's present in a sense of emotions. Makes me think of Destiny Child.
Right. I just emotions taking me over.
Yeah. So stop it.
Get out of my head.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's emotions that are taking you over because it's being, again, torn between two worlds. I think that it truly just feels like still giving a care to something that you don't even have a feeling towards anymore.
You don't even got tears for it.
Yeah.
You crying over something that you can't even really get the tears out.
No, because you know that there's still so much more ahead for you. That's what the Three of Wands is. It's about setting out into new territory, into new things that really inspire you and motivate you to live life. And that's what I'm saying. When you leave home and you go explore the world and then you come back home, it is refreshing to be back home around the places and spaces and people that you're used to. But when you make that decision, like, yeah, I'm moving, it is bitter. It's going to be bittersweet. I think that's the emotion that we're seeking. It's a bittersweetness to things, but it doesn't mean that is an indication to stay where you are. It is just knowing that at some point everything is going to have an ending. Every cycle is going to end in one way or another. Does that mean you will never go back home and you will never be back around those things and people again? No. But in order for you to keep growing and living within your purpose and what God has put on your heart, you're going to have to just flow through your feelings and know that it is temporary. I feel like this makes me think of TikTok videos of people who live abroad. And a girl she's been living in London for like the last 10 years. And she wanted to speak and tell people that like she absolutely loves her life in London and she wouldn't change that. She wouldn't go back to the States, but people should realize that you're going to miss home. You're going to miss special occasions and birthdays and nieces and nephews growing up. Like, you're going to miss out on a lot. So you have to get clear at the cost that it's going to be for you. And again, I think that would make a lot of us feel selfish. Like, I'm missing my nephew grow up, or I'm missing my sister's
Christmas
wedding, or, Thanksgiving and things like that. But at what cost? I don't know. I'm trying to find another way to look at this energy, but it's coming off as focusing on things that, again, you don't ever want to take for granted, but it's also having to be in this place of making sure that what you are standing on and building is firmly rooted within something solid, because those things are not you. Like, they're an extension of you. They are a part of you, or were at some point. But at the end of the day, when all of that is said and done, and that comes to its end, you still have to deal with yourself and your life. This kind of goes hand in hand with yesterday's message about that attachment, that codependency.
Right.
And even just how some people are in reality. Some people want to cling to you in moments of them not having anything or anyone to share their life or their reality with. But the moment that they get their person, like, you don't hear from them.
Big ghost, right.
And so it's kind of like that. I don't really know how this is going to resonate for everyone in their life right now. It may not even be within familiar relationships or things like that. But you have to look at life through a lens of yourself and then not feel as though that is selfish, because you are building yourself to build something greater at the end of the day. Like, I am 1000% sure that my purpose is within my life. My life is my testimony. It is my inspiration to others. And if I were to stop living my life and seeking more purpose and evolution because of someone else or something else that's not growing, Like I'm hindering myself,
Right.
but also the purpose that I'm put here for.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. You don't want to stop writing your story. You don't want somebody else to write your story. Right? And a lot of times we become codependent with people that we didn't actually choose in our life, right? Like you didn't choose your parents, you didn't choose who your siblings are, you didn't choose those people. So you got to weigh out, what is it that I've chose for myself?
Right. So the Star card came out to clarify the Five of Cups. As long as we stay connected to the past in the way that we have, it's hard to see who we really are within that energy, because again, we had a certain role that we had to show up as. And for all of us, that may look different. You may have been the protector, you may have been the caregiver, you may have been the nurturer or the provider. It's going to be different for everyone, but it's not a place where you got to shine in the ways that you deserve to. And again, I think that this is such a hard message to convey or to say, because it sounds like it comes with me, like selfishness. But at some point in time, life is all about you. Because again, purpose, anyone's purpose, your purpose is not what you do. Your purpose is who you are and how you show up in this reality that inspires other people to be themselves and do the things that make them them, that then inspires, it's a domino effect.
Right.
That's your purpose, is to be you. And so the Star card is making me think of the Patreon reading last night, where it was a conversation about knowing that you are exactly who you are supposed to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And there's nothing outside of that that you need to become more of, because you're going to evolve naturally. And so it's not sitting in this present place within your life and feeling like you need to fix yourself, or you need, like, if you out here just not being a good person and you know that you are better than that or can be better than that, then yes, it's challenging that energy. But if you are truly waking up and giving your best and doing everything that you know in order to be a better person, or to balance yourself, to show up in a way that you're proud of, like there's nothing more than that. It's about embracing it. It's time to stop putting yourself down and start to lift yourself up. And that requires you to be all about you. Like, that's how you build up that confidence. Because if you're always giving parts of yourself away, or picking it apart, or putting it down, you're never going to feel confident enough to stand in your present moment and feel like you are who you need to be. It's always going to be a striving of like, I need to do more, I need to be more, I need to give more. And it's just like, no, what if what you have right now is more than enough? If you don't have the energy, you don't have the energy because you've been giving it away. And so at what point are you going to stop and realize you need to regain your energy so that you can show up in the best ways that you need to?
Yeah. In some way, being present.
Yeah.
Embracing the present moment. Some people look too far in the future, and some people looking back in the past.
Yeah. Or you're taking away from your own present moment by focusing on what other people may think.
Yep.
Whether that is like people's opinions, or feeling like if I don't show up for them today, then that's going to upset them. And if they do, then that's on them. Like, that's them not having a realistic perception of burnout, of giving all of yourself to something that's not giving back. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you woke up and said, Kayla, I just don't have it in me today. Like, I just need to lay down and I need some time to myself, I'm not going to be like, well, what about us?
Right.
You know, because again, if I feel burnt out and I'm tired, you know, I'm going to go duck away.
Right.
You know, so if I feel like I'm deserving of that for myself, and I know when enough is enough, why do you not have that same permission?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that trauma response comes from dealing with people who make it all about them all the time.
Right.
So like, oh my God, how dare you not show up for me today? I don't
take
have
those moments personal.
the energy.
Right.
What do you mean?
Right.
I've been helping you every day for 999 days.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 1,000th day, I need a break. And you want to get upset with me about that? Like,
right.
I don't know.
And they see you wearing it. They even see you like, dang, girl, you look tired. Can you do, like, and still ask you to do something. Like,
it's the consideration.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, again, I know that taking those moments for yourself may seem selfish, but selfish needs to be seen as a two-way street. There is pure, ugly, evil, vindictive selfishness where you will hurt and hinder anything and anyone in your way in order to get what you want,
Mm-hmm.
versus selfishness of like, I just need me
I need
right
some
now.
me time. Right.
Yeah. And I get that you are going through something in your life too, but in order for me to show up for you in the healthiest ways, I need to take this moment for myself. Right? It's like what I was saying about a past friendship of mine. This person just, their whole life seemed to fall apart because I wasn't calling them every day and checking on them. And in the background, I was over here going through a divorce and a midlife crisis. Like, and I'm supposed to care about checking in with you every day more than trying to figure out my reality that just got flipped upside down.
Right.
And I did. I took on the guilt from that. I took on feeling like, oh my God, I shouldn't have did that to them. Like, I was going through my whole reality turning inside out. And you couldn't even consider in that moment that, damn, maybe Kayla is going through a lot right now.
Right.
And us talking about the sky being blue is not that important today.
Right. You was being considerate by not putting
My heaviness,
your burdens on
her.
them. Right. And some people need to just understand that life be lifing.
Life be lifing. And life is only not lifing if you ain't paying attention to life. If you just floating from one thing to the next and distracting yourself, then life don't be lifing to you. It's just on to the next. Mm-hmm. But the people who are actually paying attention to their life and trying to learn from their lessons and the things that they go through, life be fucking lifing. That's what I'm saying. This healing is not no skip and walk in the fucking park. It is a drag me down the concrete and scraping my knees type of energy.
Right.
And if you're not feeling that, then I don't really think that you're doing the work.
Right. Those are people who take things personal. Like, I have a few friends that I don't talk to for months or even a year. And I appreciate them because they understand that life be lifing and that, mm-hmm. you know, if they call me out the blue, I'm going to pick up because it's never nothing personal.
Right.
And sometimes I feel like I need to apologize for that. And they be like, girl, you ain't got to apologize. Like, and you only don't take it personal when you know you haven't done anything to anybody. Like,
yeah. And I don't know. That's the thing that's just been catching me with you in the past few days of you saying sorry. Like, I'm not so used to you saying sorry so much, but it reminds me of a past version of myself. And I got called out actually on the channel in the beginning when I first started reading. And I would mess up a word or I would say something wrong and I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. And people would be like, Kayla, like, you don't have to be saying you sorry every time. Like, but it ended up being like a trauma response. Like, I got so used to saying sorry for speaking up for myself or telling somebody the truth or, you know, defending myself.
Or taking your moment, taking your time. Like,
yeah, I got so used to that growing up in a household where, again, I wasn't able to focus on myself. I had to be of service to everybody else. And so any time I did something selfishly for myself, made a piece of toast for me, and somebody woke up, and I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. You know,
I didn't make you none.
You know, like, it's not that I wasn't considerate. It was in that moment, I was just thinking about what I needed. And so people pointing that out in my comments really made me look at myself like, what am I really apologizing about? I'm going to apologize if I'm really sorry, but I'm not going to be sorry for considering myself first in this moment when I really needed it. Yep. Right? You did it last night when I was like, oh, are you in there washing your hair? And you're like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm almost done. It's like, you ain't got to be sorry. I was just, right. I don't need nothing. I know you was in the shower a little longer than before, so I was making sure you was all right, you know?
And then after that, I was like, well, dang, am I not supposed to wash my hair? But, I mean, I did say sorry for something.
Yeah.
That I had to be sorry for.
It was just, usually you're like, oh, I'm about to wash my hair. So, like.
But as a trauma response, I took that as I did something wrong.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I do that all the time. Like, when you go out and walk the dogs in the morning, like, I'm so used to you, like, taking them and coming right back up. Yesterday morning, you took longer, and I was just like, freaking out in my head. I'm like, oh, my God, what? Like, where'd she go? Did she walk a little further down? Like, and then you came back in, and you was just like, you know, normal you.
But while I'm out walking the dogs, and I'm out there for a little longer, I'm like, oh, my God, she probably thinking, like, something happened to me, or, you know.
Yeah.
I ain't got my phone on me. I'm thinking all the things that I've done wrong, that I'm out here for too long, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just what I'm
nothing
used to
that
doing.
We put on each other.
Right. It's being overly considerate sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I even said that on Patreon. Like, you'll be walking the dogs and I'll be checking my phone. And when you come in, I put my phone down as if I'm not doing anything. Just because, again, like, growing up, like, my mother probably be like, what you doing? You just sitting on your phone? You need to be folding clothes or washing dishes. You know, it's still that anticipation of, like, again, not being able to prioritize ourselves without somebody feeling like it's other things to be done, you know? And again, it's not looking at other people within this energy and focusing on other people. It's how we are responding to our thoughts and our feelings around things. We have a hard time letting go of the past because we feel like the past will be upset if we let them go, without realizing that the past is probably not even paying us attention.
Yep.
I think you helped me see that.
Yeah, they're not thinking about
you. I wake up and I used to worry so much about people and things from my past, and you're just like, Kayla, they probably not even considering you.
They going on with life. They're not even thinking about you.
Yeah,
and that's hard to hear. You like, oh,
it is hard to hear
because you think about them so much, but
it's the truth.
But they be living life. They ain't thinking about you. They only think about you when you done, made sure you dropped everything and called.
Yeah, and I think it is something that you should consider, but it's how long you sit on that consideration.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting for years thinking about the past and considering people of the past and how I was showing up in the things that I was doing that could make these people think this or feel this way, when, again, whether they were watching or not, it still shouldn't have held me back from embracing who I was or am and who I'm becoming just naturally. You're going to change regardless. Change is the only constant in life.
It's inevitable.
And so some people change for the better, and some people just change and become more of a lower vibration of what they were.
Right.
Some people, you can say people stay the same, but I think that they even end up going backwards after a while, because you sit in stillness too long, you're going to end up in darkness.
Well, they fight against the change.
Well, then you become tired. You still lose energy. And then eventually you're going to feel hopeless, helpless, and restless.
Yep.
So, yeah. I mean, you have to free yourself. Free mind, like Tim's. Because the Seven of Wands behind the Eight of Swords talks about our defense mechanisms. Maybe it's time for you to renew your defenses, because they're not defending you anymore. They're actually hurting you. They're hindering you, And I think that was a reality that just hit for me in the last few days, I found a new defense mechanism of just staying in my corner and not saying anything and using silence on people until that wasn't serving me because it wasn't helping me keep my own peace.
Right.
And so I had to speak out. I had to speak up. And again, just like I told Patreon, through you getting fed up, it frees you. I know we try to control ourselves so much to not lose our shit, but it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. It's just where you direct that energy towards. And, you know, thankfully I'm surrounded by people who allow me the freedom to be fed up and speak my truth without judging me, without telling me that I shouldn't feel this way or think this way. It's letting it flow, but then also backing it up with the support of groundedness.
Yeah.
So, thank you. So you lean on the people that allow you to lean on them, and then you make sure that you are that person for them when they need it, because we're not always going to go through the same things and feelings at the same time. Some people can carry it better than others, and some people show it in different ways than others, but it is ultimately being who you need to be for yourself and allowing that to support other people in the ways that they need. Like, I don't need to become Janae. I don't need to show up in the ways that Janae shows up for me. Like,
Right.
you are connected to me because you need that balance that I bring, and I need the balance that you bring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you giving me that softness and that support and that like more sensitive perspective is what you don't need. You need a blunt, black and white, lay it out dry,
Right.
to balance out your, I don't want to say sensitivity because I know that may be taken as like weakness, but it's not. You just have a lot of true emotion to your thoughts and your feelings.
Right.
Whereas I can take that shit out like a vacuum and just lay it out facts.
Right. I can always be like, oh, the brighter side of things, and sometimes I really just need the truth of things.
Yeah.
And the truth hurts, and you got to feel that too.
Right. So that's the balance that we try to bring to you guys with this podcast. So a lot of you come from evolving spiritually, and you're always getting the blunt, straight up, this is what it is and this is what it ain't and shouldn't be. And I wanted to bring in the realness of raw emotion, of vulnerability, of seeing that there is still softness and still space to be sensitive and see things thoroughly with color, because life is both.
Right.
So when you get to this place of the Three of Wands, and that is planning, that is moving forward on what you've planned and what you have been prepared to do or preparing yourself for, it comes with you starting back at the beginning again with this Page of Wands. It's baby steps. Be patient with yourself. Slow down. Understand that you may fall down, but you know how to get back up. That nothing and no one can stop you, but it may be a learning curve. So again, not beating yourself up in this moment for not knowing your left from your right, or not knowing how to feel or straighten up your feelings or your mind from being in between two worlds. It's going through it, right? So these readings is never saying, hey, you need to get it together and pull yourself together and get out of the past. It's saying to pay attention to what's pulling on you so that you can get to the root of it and pull it out then. You're trying to pull a plant out of the soil without like digging to the root of it to make it come out easier, right? You're replanting yourself in new soil, and you don't want to just be ripped out and still have parts of your roots in the old dirt, right? You want to shovel through it. You want to be patient. You want to be gentle. And you want to set yourself into a new pot with fresh soil. And again, it's going to take time to get accustomed to, but you will flourish even more because you'll be in a space with people who water you, who tend to you, who look after you. Not just people who either neglect you or they just come throw a bunch of water on you and leave you there, and then you be overwatered. Right? Like,
right.
That's the thing, and that's something I'm learning through my hair. As much as I thought my hair has been dry, I have been damaging my hair by over moisturizing it. I didn't even know that was a thing. I've been over moisturizing my hair by leaving too much conditioner on it all the time. And that was another lesson. That was another wake-up call to me as well. Just because I've been impatient and haven't really paid the right attention to my hair, I just been throwing moisture on it, thinking like, oh, this is enough. This is all I got to do. And I've been neglecting it within that too. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're going to end it there.
Yeah, I think just like the oracle said, you are awake. You are awake. You're not asleep anymore. You see it for what it is.
So, ultimately, you got a choice of what reality you're going to sit in.
Yep.
Right? I know I'm over moisturizing my hair. I'm not about to do that no more. Yeah, no. I'm about to pay attention to it. I'm about to care and tend to it so it can keep growing just like me.
Yep.
So, we love you guys. Know that there is discomfort in growing, but that's just how it goes. And eventually it will flow again. But you're just starting over. So, just think of the first day of lunch at a new school. And you don't know where to sit because you ain't made friends yet. You don't really know nobody yet. So it's always awkward, but within time you're going to know exactly where you sitting and who you clicking with.
Right.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to you later. Bye.